Dabu7 trying to get the stream up and going. New link, new run. Let's see if we got some audio. It's about all I can do is get a mic check right at the gate. See if we're live, see if it's coming through. All right. Thank you, Steve, Mark, everybody out there. Walk with God. Please reshare the link and get it out there. The new one, different than the last one, for whatever reason. We've had these issues. Yeah, I want to give people a second to gather in. Every time that I think it's good and I start to speak, I look over and there's some kind of issue. So on my end, I completely rebooted everything. Rebooted, reloaded everything. Didn't start off with any music. Don't have anything else playing. OBS hasn't cut out on me, hasn't done anything. Last time I had something like that is when a storm went over and people were saying it sounded like it was a robot. All right, thank you. God is good. All right, thank you, Joan. Yeah, just giving it a second, let people roll in. I want to thank everybody again that reshares this and gets it out there. And yeah, all right, if we're sounding good, try to keep this going. How much you guys heard of what I already said, I don't know, but it was just a little bit of introduction and some space weather. And I was talking about the part of dimming out the sun, which isn't too big of a shocker, I don't think. I've been watching Chemtrails for a long time. I got a group called Operation Chemtrails over on X, formerly Twitter. And they've been posting on this for years and years and years. For as long as I've had an account over there. And we've been seeing this stuff for a long time. We know that it's real deal. We know that it ties into weather manipulation. A whole lot more stuff. For a long time, they wanted to act like, even up to present day, some will act like it's a conspiracy. And act like it's not real. When you can walk outside and see the whole sky checkered, crisscrossed with these chemtrails that are obviously not contrails, but the small-minded are easily fooled. It sickens me. I look around at the people around. You can have a whole sky full of this stuff, like crisscrossed all over the place and pointed out, and they're like, what? The playing contrails? And it's just like, oh man. I don't even engage any further. You've showed me your IQ. You know, it's ridiculous. People need to snap out of it and wake up. And see that we're getting sprayed like bugs. We have been for a minute. We've been watching this, and from what I can tell, definitely before the rain sets in all the time, there's a campaign to chemtrail the sky. We see it left and right. Now, for the most part, I got to say, out here where I'm at, it's been rather decent in terms of the crazy weather cycles they're throwing our way, but like blue sky-wise, it's been decent. Seen more blue sky here as of late. I don't know if it's because of the high winds pushing stuff through. But when they chemtrail, they chemtrail. And it seems like this whole thing about dimming the sky is a cover for that. To me, it's like, we've known this for a minute. We know what they're doing. We know what they're up to. They've rolled out many plans to do it. But Like now, this is their excuse. The excuse is they're going to try to dim the sun. It's getting too hot. They're fiddling with Mother Nature here, and I don't like it one bit. But I think most of you know what I'm talking about. Most of you see the chemtrails, you know what they are at this point. We're getting sprayed. And, Sweet Pea, thank you for the coffees. I appreciate you. Right back to the fullest. And anyone else that supports the channel, appreciate it to the fullest. Gonna keep it pushing here, since we're good. We got an Islamic terror attack that happened in India. This happened on tourists in a resort town. This is pretty crazy because of the details here. People were trying to flee and get away. Dozens were injured. These terrorists allegedly were checking IDs. This is probably the more ominous thing about it. Checking IDs to see what religion you were. And they were targeting non-Muslims. So, just imagine the people that are over there, and like you're getting separated out, and like the Muslims, they're cutting loose, and these other people have no idea they're about to get gunned down. It's what's happening. It's happening all over the place. Thank you, Ike, for the super chat. It's happening in many different areas. It's just genocide constantly. It's happening every day, all the time. Quite honestly, I'm sick of seeing it, but I think as long as this beast is in operation on this planet, this is what we're going to see. You're going to see a false peace commence, and that may be something of what we're going to talk about here tonight. All this is, it's important. We're in some crazy times. We're in those days, man. I'm a true believer that, well, as soon as a couple things happen here on Trump's watch, you're going to see for sure where we're at. Because they plan to begin the third temple on his watch and everything else. And their Messiah, that's right, their Messiah, they say is going to sit in that temple. And that Trump will deliver America to it. This is all on video. This is all what the rabbis have said. They've given Trump the silver crown and called him the Prince of Peace and all this other stuff. But whether he is responsible for or not, it seems like they're going to try to attribute all these peace processes to him, even if he's heavily tied in or not. That way they can say that he's a man of peace. You know what this leads to. False peace. As it's stated biblically, this peace plan goes into effect for 7 years. And halfway through it, as the Antichrist has this reign, that's when it goes down. That's when it all goes down. So, tribulation kicks in, full blown. You'll know it. So, to know that they've got a 7-year peace plan on the table here, I'm going to break that down here in a minute, but India is the most populated place on the planet at this point. They are a strong contender to flip-flop out of BRICS in turn on other countries if they have to. Will they against China? I don't know. They've had some skirmishes with China on the border already. It's been pretty crazy, but technologically China has the edge. I don't know. I don't know where that would go. I guess strategy would come into play. That would be one crazy war. But we know they want to reduce the number of people on this planet. And you can't begin to do that unless you confront the Chinese and Indian populations. You can't. You can sit there and target all these other populaces and countries, but you're not really getting anywhere if you're not focusing on those two groups, as I see it. When I think of Bill Gates and all them that really want to bring down the numbers of people on this planet, I look at these places as prime areas for this to happen. Part of the reason that all this originated in China last time. Next one, any one of these areas, even Africa, is on the list. And that's because Gates is doing a lot of his fiddling around and dropping jabs on people out there where he can get away with it. He's been doing this. And see, he's not even a licensed doctor. This is where you got Bill Gates in court, man. You got him smoked on charges. You've got him on video, smoked over and over again. Good luck getting him there in court because Trump's done had dinner with him in Mar-a-Lago. He'll catch a pardon before you can even get him in the cell at this point. You see what we're up against? Good luck getting any truth out of any Trumper on that. They go quiet. You hear crickets. They turn around and run the other way. But it's the truth. That's what we're about around here. So you're never going to tackle this problem. Bill Gates is basically got a get out of jail free card as far as I'm concerned. When you're down there dining with the sitting president, when you should be getting arrested, something's not right. Something's not right. And I told you, man, they're geared up for the H5N1 release. And that would be one that's way more lethal, way more deadly, and everything else. They've been wargaming that situation the whole time. They're on film admitting it. They've got everything ready for it. Absolutely everything. So, as I see it, what we went through before was like a beta test. A lot of testing for them. A lot of chances for them to see how things would go if this happened. If that happened. We lock everybody down, how they're going to react. All this crap. Right? All of it. And, well, Boomer, man. Much love. I appreciate that. Really do, brother. Thank you for the coffee and the support. At this point, all I can really think about is just wanting to meet good people and good souls. I report on the madness all the time, every day. 3 times a week I'm live covering everything. I feel like we're running out of time. I feel like it's really going to go down. And I feel like that when the big event goes down, this country is going to come down hard. And opportunities you may have had at one point, you're not going to have. Similar to like when they locked us down. You couldn't even get on the highway and go anywhere unless you had essential papers. Unless you were an essential person. Do y'all remember that? Because I don't forget. What happens if we get thrown into that again? Good luck having a meetup. Good luck meeting up with people like minds. You feel me? So, I don't know. Just the way I feel right now. I feel like we're running out of time. Well, I'm going to keep it pushing here. We've got a story here about a judge basically being convicted here on second-degree murder that killed his wife.
Good evening. You're watching the news at 5. I'm Cher Calvin.
And I'm Micah Ullman. Thank you for joining us to breaking news first at 5 o'clock. After a retrial, an Orange County judge has been found guilty of second-degree murder for shooting and killing his wife inside their Anaheim Hills home.
KTLA's Orange.
Now, that's all I'm going to play that. I don't want if these start messing up there if it's on my end. I'll give you the details, though, here. He was with his wife and went into a drunken rage, basically. Was drinking. They got into an argument. He had made a hand sign toward her like he was going to shoot her. And then later, I guess when they get to the house, he pulled his gun out of his ankle line, shot her in her chest, and then freaked out. And then immediately admitted that he did this. He said he just lost it. He texted his colleagues. He said he shot his wife. He wouldn't be in. He'll be in custody. Said he was sorry. He faces 40 years in prison after they just convicted him of this. So the lawyer trying to say it was an accidental shooting. It's kind of hard for any of that when you sent all these messages admitting to it, basically. Yeah, so yeah, Pixie, first stream, there was issues, so we fired up a new one, so here we are. And yeah, I just erased the other one, fired this new one up, reset everything, and here we are. So, yeah, so I mean, we're seeing more and more of this type of stuff, people snapping out, this and that, but anytime a judge is involved with stuff, you've got a ring of judges, just like a cop. And they're protected. They have Masonic circles and all this other stuff. So it's interesting to see how things pan out. Thank you, Kathy, for the super chat and the kind words. Appreciate it to the fullest. Rest in peace to his wife that was killed in this. I'm gonna keep it pushing. We've got outrage out of Connecticut after a father has been arrested and charged for killing a bear that was threatening his family. Now, this guy lived in Florida. He moved up to Connecticut. I'm assuming they weren't too familiar with how the wildlife can just roll up on you. I mean, it's like this in the mountains. In Appalachia, black bears are common. They're all over the place. We got them on our cameras right here. And there's a lot of other stuff, like cougars, mountain lions. They try to say some of these things in here, but we've got them on camera. And we've got a big cat out here is what freaks me out in my neck of the woods. We've seen it here over the weekend, this past weekend. We were out on the property and bucking off some rounds. I saw numerous tracks, and like by the third one, I was like, whoa, and I stopped. And everybody looked. It was like, immediately everyone was like, man, that's a big cat track. And it was almost the size of my freaking hand. Not the fingers, not as long as the fingers, it was as big as round. I mean, it was a big cat. And not no bobcat, because the bobcats I've seen before too. They've passed me on the main road down here. We've got them too. But we've got one big cat on camera that its back end is huge. It almost looks like a cow, like a back torso. And everyone that sees it, any expert that sees it, is like, oh yeah, that's a big cat. And it was right here, like 20 yards from where I'm speaking right now. So anything can happen out there in this Appalachia is what I want to tell you. Got to be prepared to mountains. And I don't think that this guy right here understood that fully. So what happens is this Todd Topics, he entered his garage, and he said that this bear was in there going through the trash, and his kids just so happened to be in there playing. And the dog sprung into action and chased the bear out and up a tree. Topic said that he fired 5 warning shots at the bear and chased it into the woods, only to realize afterwards that he had accidentally hit and killed it. So now he's getting charged for this, and I think that's garbage. He's getting some weird charges, like let me get down here to the bottom. I mean, if a bear rolls up and my 3 and 10-year-old are sitting there, children are there, I'm doing whatever to defend them. So a neighbor heard the noise and called the police, who arrested Topics on charges of negligent discharge of a firearm and breach of the peace. It's just, I just can't stand stupid people. Anytime a wild animal is running up on your people, you protect yourself, in my opinion. And if they're there for food, they're going to come back for food. Really lucky kids didn't get attacked here. I don't know if I buy the guy's story that they were all warning shots. Fired warning shots at the bear. Well, if you're, that's not how it works. Like, you fire warning shots like into the air, into the ground, or something. If you're firing at something, it's not a warning shot. Okay, so just get that cleared up. But I really think the dude just got spooked and reacted, and you know, where I live, they have seasons where people go out and hunt them, just like they go out and hunt deer, just like anything else, because they'll become overpopulated and a nuisance, as they label it. There's seasons for it. I don't know. Every situation's different. I wasn't there, but all I could say is learn from other people's experiences here in case it happens to you. If you're going to move up into the mountains, always be mindful of absolutely everything. Like, watch your surroundings. Again, there's wolves, there's bears, there's snakes, deadly ones, all over. All right, so this is a sad statistic right here to report. Just 30% of Illinois' fourth graders read at proficiency standards. This is bad for America through and through. 30% of fourth graders. And this isn't the only area. I've seen reports like this out of other places. It's very sad. Our youth we're losing it, man. It's very sad. Here we've got some facts, and some of you can relate to this. I'm sure you know someone out there that is on drugs out there to some degree. Much love, Jay. All right, so look at the headline. More than 60% of U.S. adults admit that they are taking pharmaceutical drugs. That's huge. A whopping 61% of adults are taking at least one pharmaceutical drug. Which, I know some people need medicines, but it just shows how far we're detached from the natural medicines and how big pharma here is just taking control of the whole game and got so many people on pills that they benefit from, and not too many people out there are trying any natural remedies. Matter of fact, they're censored or they're outlawed or something crazy. You got to go down Mexico to get treatment for certain stuff because you can't get it here. Isn't that insane? But it's the truth, right? So, big pharma is supposed to be getting torn down and taken down, but nah. Through Trump's tariffs, he just made it more expensive on everyday people to get pharmaceuticals, big time. So people are going to be paying out the nose. And then he come out and said, we're going to do something for the people. We're going to make it where it's less expensive on the people for your pharmaceuticals that you need. But it don't go into effect for like 2 years. By then, people are going to be dead. So, I don't know. When I see this, we've always been under attack. They got money for war, but can't feed the poor, and they bring in all these drugs left and right. That's part of the fentanyl problem. They want to blame China and this and that, but we've long known. Our own government's been caught time and time again bringing the stuff in and distributing the stuff all over the place. This goes all the way back to Bush 1, Burma, the coke, all that, the crack epidemic, everything. We know these things. The same alphabet gangs come in and drop off crates of guns in the hood, so brothers get fully automatic weapons to go kill each other with. How else do you think they get them? How else do you think they get the drugs? It's the same way all the time. That's a high number, though. I just wanted to point it out. I would just like to see a day where people... I'd like to see a surge in just medicinal stuff that's natural. I'm not sure we're ever going to see that, but I guess you got to take it upon yourself out there. I don't trust doctors. I don't trust none of it. I've been trying to find out what's wrong with me for years now, why my hands are numb, and all this crazy crap. I could punch a hole through a wall, I wouldn't feel it. But it's what it is. This place is a sham. I try to live as healthy as I possibly can. Not just for me, but for family. Because I feel like and for anyone else that depends on me for anything else, what good am I if I'm over here hooked on anything? Years ago, I told myself I'll leave it all in the rear view. The best I could. I gave up pops, gave up energy drinks, gave up cigarettes, gave up pork, I gave up a bunch. And like my life changed when I did that. I'm going to be honest with you. Even when I had financially, the beast came and attacked me, and they pulled the rug out from underneath me, demonetized me, and all that. Still, it was in the midst of all of it. God had me. Here I am. I'm still breathing, So I still fight the fight, as long as I got breath in me. I've watched so many people die over the years via drugs that it's crazy. The pills, the fentanyl, it was a trap. Trapped all these people into liking little Percocets and Vicodins and Bing Bing and living a little buzz and euphoria you get off of them. Just slipping in deadly fentanyl to the mix now, and it's game over. Cats that were not looking for death are finding it. Left and right. It pisses me off. And look at it, just like that. Just cut like 350 people off the stream. Just like that. I can't explain. At least we're streaming. No. So, this is crazy. Nearly half of U.S. home sellers are offering buyer concessions. And that's just to get stuff sold. The markets are all over the place. But I don't know. I would say that if you were looking to buy a home, if any window of opportunity opens, I'd probably jump on it. If you're trying to move or get into a better location, is all I'm saying. And I gotta say that for a lot of my life, I rented. I have no option. But then one day I told myself, I was like, man, like something just kept telling me, like the spirit was telling me, like, you need to go like to the mountains and like you need to just like buy a house or blah 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 the best you can. Try to save up whatever you can to do it. So I started looking down the avenue, and once I got into a house, I realized that the house payments were cheaper, obviously, than renting. It was crazy. And then, like over like just give it 5 years time, you have paid into something that you turn around and sell versus just throwing the money away. So that is the one plus. If you can buy a home, you can get to a home. I mean, everybody's got to have a roof over their head, right? You're going to pay over $1,000 every month toward that. It just makes sense that you own it. Like, you get a piece, you want to turn around and sell it, you get a piece of that. And everything else, instead of just throwing it away to rent. I'm just saying. From my experience. Because you're just putting the money in someone else's pocket. Which is good for them. If you've got property out there and you can rent it out, that's definitely a plus. But let me also tell you, how many horror stories I've heard from people that couldn't get people out of their houses. Couldn't get people off the properties. and all this other stuff. Like, do you want to deal with that headache? Like, I don't. Here's one for you. The jobs. We were told the jobs, that they blew up. It was all a lie, actually. All the jobs under Biden was going to illegals or migrants, period. Native-born Americans were not getting these jobs, like, at all. Well, this is what's happening now. They're putting up signs like this. We're hiring for farm pickers to pick blueberries. And the argument has always been that the reason migrants are in here is to do the work that lazy Americans don't want to do. So now, the offer's out there for $11 an hour, 9 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, throughout the summer for a job opening for anyone that wants it. And people are complaining that $11 an hour isn't going to cut it. But see, this is where they go straight. When they go to the migrants don't complain. They take the $11 an hour, they take the work, they do it, it gets done. And as they see it, and as they say, the lazy American sits there and doesn't do anything. Well, here's jobs out there for the summer. And somebody's going to get proven right, and somebody's going to get proven wrong. Right? We're going to see who fills these jobs. Because if the Americans don't want it to, they're going to fill up by migrants. Okay, so we're going to see. We will see in the end, after this window, what happens here. But what I've noticed is that, like, this isn't like good money. This isn't like big money or anything like that. Some are going to say $11 an hour, like that's like minimum wage, depending on where you're at. I don't know. That's low. We can't survive off that, yada, yada. Well, they've gotten away with this because a group of Mexicans coming up from Mexico, living 5 of them in a house together, can get by like this. And when people will hire them illegally, they're slipping up here and they're getting paid. They're not even supposed to be here, but they're still getting the work, getting it done, getting the money, and getting it back home, because that's what they do. They make all this money and they send it back home down Mexico where they build mansions and all this other stuff. I remember it's 2001. I remember because I watched the towers fall from inside the break room at this place. But when I was there, I worked with quite a few different Mexican cats, and they were cool, really good workers and everything else. They were some of my best guys. And we used to always just chat at lunch, man, be like, where are you guys from? And just trying to get information, like, what it was like on their end. And they would tell me what they would do. They would, and they were here illegally, legitimately. So they weren't like they were illegals. They were legal migrants here on visas or whatever to work for X amount of time. But they told me the strategy that they'll get as many of them as they can. The brothers, the cousins, whoever, they'll get together, a gang of them. They'll come up here if they can land the work. They'll get the work in. They'll, like I just told you, they'll stay in one house, sleeping on the floor, cots, whatever else. And they'll go and they'll bust out work, 60-hour work weeks, like overtime. They'll get it in. And they'll collect all this money and send it back to Mexico, where after doing this for 5 years, they go down there and live like kings. You see? Now the problem, like, you could do that too. You could implement that strategy, and some have. Problem is, like, you got to know Mexico at this point, and if you haven't noticed, the time may be up for that. Like, you can't just wander down Mexico anymore, without knowing where you're at and knowing someone, or you're gonna get killed. It's dangerous, man. I've reported week after week of just high school students and college students going on vacation down there and just getting chopped up. Like, it's ridiculous. It's sickening. It's sad. And apparently, the Mexican government has no control over the cartel, so it's just going to continue to get out of hand. They're like, I feel like they're held hostage by them. Yeah. So, let's go to the West Coast port of Los Angeles. This is a very important port. Well, guess what? It's seeing a big drop in traffic, and it's not because of lockdowns and anything like that. It's because the tariff stuff's starting to catch up. And give it a month or two, right into the heat of summer, you're going to see this thing hit a high here in terms of problems. The port traffic's slowing down. I'm kind of anticipating the shootings and the bombings of vessels to continue in the waterways. And I feel like it's going to go hot surrounding Taiwan with China. I really do. I think they're going to make their move sooner than later. If they get into an economic gridlock with the United States, they have nothing to lose by going after Taiwan at that point. Let's look at what China's doing. They're weaponizing magnets now. You need magnets. We need it in everyday life, all kinds of different industries. For all types of things, we need magnets. And this whole thing is potentially going to delay Tesla's humanoid robot production. Optimus, which I'm telling you, they've already got warehouses full of them. Legions, as he said. He said legions. And it scares me because I think that that's what they're going to let loose on people. They have no heart. They have no consciousness. They have no, so to speak, they're trained to kill. If these things are trained to kill and they're let loose, this is like Terminator. This is right out of the movies. Everyone's overlooking it. It's the scariest thing ever. The weapons can be built into them. They can self-destruct. They can do all the things that the world's richest, craziest man could put into it. I'm serious. You let Optimus go here, you could take over countries. It just, something hangs with me. The Elon is not satisfied until he has this power. In that interview, when the guy was like, "You're the world's richest man," he's like, "Yeah, but I don't have legions. So I'm like nothing. Until I have legions, I can't." He said Putin had legions. Well, like, with Optimus, he's got legions. He doesn't have to recruit them. He doesn't have to have, man, it's all about the program you load into it. Whether the government is late to the party or not on this whole thing, he's already created an army. You would have thought DARPA and all these others would have been involved and contracted, but no, he's kept it all in-house. And this is all his babies. I'm telling you, man, you could send these into a place like Greenland, a smaller country, and you could overtake it. You could send them into any hostile situation, and they're going to win. For the most part. I don't see many scenarios where people are even going to have the weaponry to take these things out. Everyday bullets are going to become obsolete, man. You imagine all the people out there that got tons of ammunition and they think that they're set. These things come along and your ammunition is obsolete. They didn't care. Keep buying the guns. Keep buying the ammo. They really didn't care. This whole time, they really didn't. Because what you're going to have to go up against is this. It's bulletproof. I mean, freaking Elon's freaking vehicles are bulletproof. You don't think his war machines aren't going to be? What happens when he starts putting well, oh my gosh, dude. This gets crazy scary. What happens when these things start rolling up like gang members? Truckloads of I'm serious. Truckloads of Tesla Cybertrucks start pulling up. Like dozens. Start pulling up. And Optimus starts hopping out. Out of the driver's seat, out of the back of the truck. Loads of them. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? They'll whoop every gang on the block. They'll incinerate every life form on the block. I'm telling you, this is scary, deadly. People ain't even paying attention to it. Somewhere on this planet, I guarantee you, they're quietly testing these bad boys in a war atmosphere. Some poor little old town somewhere, people can kill probably right now by them. Anyhow, that's just Elon. Imagine China, what they're making. They're making their own. They've got enough manpower, they don't need to make them. But they're making them. So let's dive into the trade war here for a second. Let's look at what's happening. Chinese plastic factories are feeling the hurt now because the U.S. quit sending ethane. So this is already hurting them pretty bad. Closing down factories because of it. But there's always blowback. And we're going to see that in a second. Now look at this. A U.S. propane tanker that was headed for China. They had a port of call in China. Diverts. They're going to Japan instead. So, big moves are being made. This is 46,000 tons of propane. They left, when did they say? Like months ago. That they've been on the ocean for a minute. Oh, in March. They left in late March. Headed for China. But since the trade wars popped off, and these boys been on the ocean, like en route, they've switched course. Now they're going to Japan, dropping off, selling it there. That's how serious this is. Like, things are drying up quick, okay? And remember, like, some 140% tariff has been smacked on China right now. This is all about China. He paused, like other stuff he said, but the main focus is on China right now, so it's going to escalate. It is escalating. Okay? Check this one out. This is crazy. You think that they're getting ready for something? Yeah, I think they are. I would like to see one of these here in the United States. I went out and I bought my own machine that melts gold and melts silver for crazy times. But here we have the Chinese inside their stores. They have a brand new ATM. It was spotted in Shanghai. It accepts physical gold. It melts it down. It determines its purity and its weight. And then it sends the funds to the person's bank account within 30 minutes. What? What? Like, what? Like, man. Like, man. America, you're slipping. Like, the Chinese is making stuff like this. Like, we need to match it. We need one. We need something just like it. Take a page out of their book. Steal their idea and make it. I mean, they've done it to us enough, right? Wow. So, this thing has everything involved with it. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that it's using propane or some kind of gas to melt it down on the inside. But then you have to have a computer tied into it, obviously, here. You have to have the internet. You have to have AI. You have to have something that's testing the purity of it. Then you have to have something controlling all the transactions and sending all that out. And then it also has to be able to dispose of anything that's not pure gold, like any of the other metals. It could be silver. You would have to separate that out. Now, when you're melting gold and silver, they burn. They melt down at a different degree range. It's a different window. So, I wonder if people even realize that. Like, this machine is probably gobbling up little bits of silver and all this other stuff that people are unaware of. And there's a ton in there, I'm telling you. Wow. So, here, I'm going to play the clip. It's obviously not 30 minutes long, but here we go.
给下一步了。对，下一步。
So it shows you the weight there on the screen, the transaction, you accept it, and it sends it off to your bank account. That is crazy. That is new and high tech. Again, I would love an American-made one right here for crazy times. Because when people come rolling in, that was my whole idea. Was like, melt it down, test for the purity. I've told you this a million times. Have I not? This exact same process. That's why. Melt it all down, test the purity, and then like the people get what it's worth. Only thing I was missing there was wiring it to your bank account. Because we were talking about doing it in person. People are going to be coming to you with their rings, with their bracelets, and all their sterling silverware. All the stuff to melt down in a crazy time. They're going to want to barter with it. They're going to want to come in and trade it. And I, for one, don't want all the crap like that. I just want the gold. You know, you got necklaces, all this other stuff, like you got a bunch of forks and spoons, like just melt it down and then we'll see what you got. This thing is pretty crazy. Does it all within 30 minutes. Pretty crazy. So, all of a sudden there's a surge in gold and in Bitcoin, in crypto assets. And I'm going to tell you that anytime the dollar seems to take a nosedive, this is going to happen. And it's going to continue down that route. Because the dollar is falling apart, it's deteriorating. And we're still waiting to see if there's gold in Fort Knox. That plays huge for the dollar. That is equal to the death of the dollar, literally. If they come out and tell you the gold's gone, the dollar is done. Everybody will dump it around the planet in a heartbeat on that day. The biggest shockwave ever will happen. And it will cause everybody else to go and audit their vaults worldwide. I wonder how many would be empty after that. I'm just saying, like, that card is being stalled out. It's yet to be played. It's a huge one. It's a game changer. It can cripple everything. Remember, Trump is here to reset the whole world. You can't reset the whole world unless you reset the American economy and the dollar with it, as far as I'm concerned, and they're about to do it. He has said it this week. He openly is saying he is here to reset everything. That is not just his plan, that's his job. He was sent in to do this. I told you before he was even elected, when people thought that he still might not even get elected, I told you the vision I seen was that Trump was going to get in there and something economic huge was going to happen on his watch. That was it. Economic 9/11 is what was screamed at me. Simple. How it all happens and comes about, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I just know that. Okay? And anytime I'm shown something like that vivid, that solid, I prepare. I don't take it lightly. All right? And I foresee the dollar will be held hostage here at some point, and they're going to make everybody jump to a digital version of the dollar. It's already in your bank accounts. This is why I don't think an EMP or anything like that's going to happen. Because to get all the sheep onto the new system, they need the system up and running. Do you hear me? This bodes well, because an EMP would be nasty. They can't get everybody onto the system, but the system's fried at that point. They're concerned about what they're doing with the herd. If they've got the herd controlled, they want to get them in lockstep onto the digital beast system. And look, here's some education. This is where people are not educated, are not using the brain, they're not looking at this right. Like, people out there freak out over certain things, but it's all about who's controlling things, right? It doesn't matter anything else about anything except for who's controlling it. If it's good people or bad people, okay? I mean, just because bad people come with a gun and kill people, and they do every day, does it mean it's bad? No, a gun's not bad. And you know this. Is a car bad because someone mows people over with it? No, and you know better. The same thing can be applied with anything else, any other technology. lasers, anything. Anything. It's about who comes and controls it. Okay? So, same thing can be said with blockchain. Blockchain technology. Everyone's like, oh, it's the blockchain, freaking out and this and that. Well, no, it's who's using it. Like, blockchain can be used for good things, just as a gun could and a car could, if you use your brain. It's the people that are using it, controlling it. Clearly. You got to separate it and see. You got to see it. So, at this point, I don't see gold stopping. I don't see. Look, silver's about to explode. Let me stop it right there. If you got any silver around you anywhere, if you get hands on silver, anywhere, gobble it up. I've said this 100 times before, but man, I feel like it's about to explode. I really do. It can only hit the roof so many times. It can only bounce off $33, $35 ceiling so many times before it breaks through. Thing with silver is, silver's got the potential to run like you've never seen. Like run and run and run. That's a lot of you out there can get your hands on silver is what I'm saying. You know where some's sitting. This could be a come up for anyone out there. And if you're in a state where it's tax-free, huge. Now, I think that this whole economic thing with the dollar is going to happen pretty quick, though. Just because. There may be a little hysteria at first, but I think they're going to come to the rescue quickly with a wallet that's already sitting there. It's basically a CBDC. What kind of silver? As pure as you can get. When I was buying it, I was buying shot. Looked like little BBs. And what it was, it's pure silver, 9999. They take a torch to it, and it drips off into a water bucket. It drips off in like little BBs. And that's shot. That's what they call shot. And you get that pure shot of gold and silver, and that's what we use to make things. To make coins, to make jewelry, to make anything. That's how you do it. So the purer, the better. If you've got like something that's less pure, well, when you melt it down, we throw borax or other stuff in there to pull out the impurities. And it'll pull out those impurities, and you'll just have less substance left. You know? Whatever's real silver, though, will be there. It'll be left in there. It ain't going nowhere. Look at the chart here. Look at this. Gold in its market cap. Gold's market cap is 22 trillion. Apple's is 3 trillion. Microsoft 2.7 trillion. Nvidia 2.4 trillion. Bitcoin 1.8 trillion. Are you kidding me? Bitcoin just passed Google. Right? And look who's coming up right behind Google. Silver at 1.8 trillion. I'm telling you, and then you've got Amazon, Saudi, silver, gold, top of the list for me, and they're tax-free. In any American-made project also, as the Trump administration said, is tax-free as well, which, like the Underground Project, it's tax-free. I can't say, as Michael says, undertaken to the moon. Yes, that's a beautiful thing about it. Now, let me push on here. Oh, yeah, and our market cap for under is, I think it clipped 50,000. So we went from 4K to 20K and made our way up to 50K. We're just going to keep it growing. Let's visualize. Let's look at the whole world real quick, and let's see who's investing what in AI. Real quick, because this is a big race, if you can't tell. We're in a race to see who can make the most badass AI that you could make. Just put it that way. It's just plain and simple. Whoever can make the best. the sharpest without turning on humans, right? Well, easily, the United States is in the lead with 471 billion invested. China is second with 119, but you can just look at the visual there. We blow everybody out of the water. When it comes to the AI, they're not messing around. And it's pretty clear at this point on the world stage, the United States and China, the eagle and the dragon, are squaring up head to head. Potentially militarily, on different fronts, definitely, obviously, economically, with this trade war kicking off. Let's shift gears here. Let's go to New Jersey. Same New Jersey where all the drones were. The same New Jersey where the drones are back. If you missed it on one of the last streams, I had announced that, indeed, they are back. The FAA is saying that they're running tests. If people see them, don't freak out. They're actually doing all types of tests where they're using normal drones, so to speak, and using technologies to pick them up. So now all of a sudden, we've got a massive wildfire breaking loose in New Jersey. 8,500 acres scorching the place. The places that keep getting hit are very suspect. Remember the last time we talked about this? I mean, we've talked about it from Texas to California to Hawaii. Here recently was in the Carolinas. All around Myrtle Beach and all this. We seen the plans in California where they wanted to put in these new smart cities in the areas where it was getting wiped out. Well, these areas are Ocean and Lacey Township in Ocean County. Johns Road. This is all in Ocean County. So this is not cheap real estate right here. I would say prime. This fire is 8,500 acres. It's a big fire. It's only 10% contained. So, look at that. South Jersey, Ocean County. I mean, it's not a huge area to begin with. Just saying, I seen the footage of this and it was blazing. It is that time of year. Also, unfortunately, the dude drones play big, don't they? They don't even need drones, and we've seen them in helicopters doing it. In Texas, we got them on footage, broad daylight, helicopter going right above an area, back and forth, and next thing you know, it starts smoking. All right, gonna keep it pushing. Charles Nenner warning that we're entering a cycle that you should probably pay attention to. Check this out. This has to do with the Depression. And he says the Depression cycle is here. And that the cycle that we've just entered matches what we went through back in the Great Depression, the whole setup for it. 1928, 1929. This cycle is going to be much worse. That's what he's saying. It's going to be worse than that. He says once the war pops off full scale, it's going to throw the economies into, they're going to get crushed. He said it's going to be far worse in 2026, that it all begins now, just like it did in 1928. And that by 1929, with all the global pressure and everything mixed in, everything is going to collapse. It's all going to be by design. If you know any of your history, we know that the last Great Depression was caused and sparked by a plan. They should teach this in school, but they don't, for the most part. J.P. Morgan Chase and the goons hatched a plan. A whole bunch of people got together on Jekyll Island. Okay? They planned a bank run. They spread false information. Okay, this is all known. Write it down. Do your homework. All right? Get this locked in your brain. Teach your children. These people planned and plotted the downfall of our economy, and in the midst of it, they stole the farm from your grandparents, which should be yours. It's where you should be right now today, sitting. Truthfully, honestly, with all spirit, you should be. We all got robbed. We did. It's the truth. If you went back to get what was taken from you, you wouldn't be wrong in doing it. Because you were robbed of it in a plot and a scheme that we now know was a plot and a scheme. And we know all the details of it, who was involved, and they robbed the world. And I'm telling you, it's about to happen again. I've told you, everybody's money is tied into a 401k. It's all tied into a stock market. When they pull the money out of the stock market, you are going to be left with nothing. That is the plan. It's going to happen. It's going to cause the next depression. Everyone's going to be wiped out. How else could they be? How else could they be wiped out? And how else can a person be wiped out if you don't take all the wealth? Well, how do you take all the wealth? Well, you got to go steal it, they say. Well, if they're going to go steal it, how are you going to do that? Well, people have made it easy for them now because they put so much trust into the system. They put all their life savings into a 401k that's tied into a stock market in which all the big dogs own most of the shares. You can just smell the dumping coming. So, what happens when they sell? What happens when all these men sell at the same time? The rug gets pulled. You all lose everything. And because they've bundled most of the stock power into like 10 big stocks, Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, most people are only in them. So they only got to pull the rug on them. And those, I've said it before, are large enough. If you bring down a handful of them, they'll bring down the whole market. It's known. Many other people are screaming it right now. Matter of fact, many other people, economists that I see, are saying don't touch the market at this point, unless you're planning to short it. Because it's about to have a blow off top, which means that it will run up hard, like parabolic move, and just dump out. Now, what they can also do is they can chop you. They can take small chunks from you. And they've been doing that as well. Hell, they could do a combination, to be honest with you. They could chop you until they pull the big event. Matter of fact, I think that's what they're doing. Because just in the past 3 weeks, you've seen the market take a huge hit. It recovered a little bit. I think it took a huge hit. And recovered a little bit. Take another huge hit of trillions. Trillions. We're talking with the T now, not just billions. So, anyway, they're saying we're right there. Everything is aligning, and it's looking. If there was ever a plan, man, like, I don't know, man. Me personally, if I was in this boat and I had all this money in a 401k and I had choices to make right now, and I really felt like, all right, like someone said to me earlier, like, well, if I draw off the 401k, if I don't have that, if I take it all out, I have nothing to draw off of. Well, if you take it all out, you've got the money. And thank you, Iron Man, for the coffee. At least you've got the money. You got to hear me out, because I'm trying to understand their thinking. They're trying to say, well, I've got to have it in there so I could draw off of it every month. Well, put it in your closet and draw off of it every month. Don't leave it in the bank. Put it in your safe. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, only people that are younger take a penalty. That take it early. So if you're of age and you can pull it out and get it out, I don't. The excuse has been given to me that they've got to keep it in there because they draw off of it every month. Well, like, when the man sells all their stocks, you're done. You're not going to be drawing nothing then. You're better off taking the whole thing out now and having it in your possession. And when they sell the stocks, it does not affect you. And live off what you can off your junk. It's the same thing. I don't get it. Except you're removing the threat. You're putting the ball and you're putting all the money in your hands, putting it in your safe. Maybe some people don't feel comfortable doing that. Safe, but I'm telling you right now, you better think about it again. Because I've put a lot of thought into it, and it's plain and simple. When they make this move, you're not gonna have anything to draw off of. It's gonna be gone. That's why I'm telling you to remove it. That's why I would. So other people just can't pull the trigger. They're having a hard time pulling the trigger doing it. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to get some clarity the best I can before this happens, because once it happens, it's over. And I warned of it. All right, gonna keep it moving. Trying to give some pluses here. RFK Jr., this big push to remove artificial food dyes out of food. It's long overdue. We've been getting hit with toxins. I mean, just walk into a store. Everything on the shelf there, all the candy bars, all that's got all these dyes and chemicals in it that you're not going to find in other countries. But they'll feed it to you here because people are dumb enough to walk in and eat it. That's how they see it. FDA approved it, right? Which is garbage. They approved poison. They should be held accountable in a court of law, like now. Will it ever happen? No. The closest that you're going to get to it is something like this, I will say, is them changing up the laws and making them have to get healthier. I'm sorry if your Skittles and your Starbursts and all this stuff are going to slip away off the shelf and they're going, oh well. At least kids are going to stop getting cancer and all this other stuff. Something's got to be done. Well, my hope is that it will bring forth a revival here of natural products and like new candies, new things, new foods that are just natural made. So you could still have certain things, but just in a natural form. And without these toxins, man. We can do without the toxins. Like, give me food, right? The whole idea was supposed to be, let thy food be thy medicine. No way here. No way that is possible here. In this situation. So, I seen a video clip earlier of a lady that said she went to another country and she had some pasta and she had all this stuff and they had cheeses and all this stuff that normally makes her stomach hurt. And she was thinking that she was this or that and blah, blah, blah. Well, she was out of the country eating all this stuff and just felt great the whole time. Could run a marathon afterwards. Comes back to America, eats one thing similar, and the pain's there. And it's because it's whatever they're putting in our products, I'm telling you. Big time. I try to say, eat as organic as possible. It's the best route that you can go. In my book. Here's a crazy one. Trump is exploring ways to resolve America's demographic crisis because, as I've told you before, we're going in reverse. We're going backwards. And if you don't fix this, at some point, you'll cease to exist. The country will, because you won't have a population. You'll quit producing. So they're thinking about a $5,000 baby bonus for mothers. They shouldn't ban all hot Cheetos. Low rider. No, brother, trust me. I know you're thinking of that red number 4 or whatever, the red dye thing. But that can't mean that all things red get banned. That can't be the case. Come on now. You've got habanero, you've got hot red peppers that are all natural. I would like to think that, again, someone comes forth with natural answers. So, I mean, I'm all about healthy. But No, we got to come up with some answers here for all this stuff. Where we at here? 10:30. All right. I'm gonna play a video clip. Hopefully this plays with no problems. This is of Sam Fargasso. He's a podcaster, left-leaning. He's talking to Elizabeth Warren, or Pocahontas, and he basically calls her out politely on some truths, on her not. He just looks at her and is like, "Come on, give me a break," basically. Like, you're gonna tell me you didn't know Joe Biden was in mental decline, because she kept trying to act like he kind of broke her. You'll see by the end of this clip that, like, she's kind of shocked by it, but she, by the end, it looks to me as she looks defeated, and that, like, he got his point across.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So she kind of backed down. Like, she had to kind of like admit and take it that Biden was mentally disabled, and like, she didn't do anything about it. Like, she did. Like, that whole side just stood behind him. But I mean, when the other side sees it, that was why I played the clip. So you can see that the left, or whatever you want to call it, the other side, they see these things too. They see that he was not there, and probably some dude in a mask and all this other stuff. But it takes till now for it to come out. Cilantro for heavy metal detox. Good one, E-Phase. And boy, oh boy, watch this clip. This is of this tranny coming up on Nancy Grace on stage, having this encounter. And boy, when she pisses him off, his voice changes so deep. At the end, it looked like he was going to pick the plant up and hit her with it. And her security thought the same thing, but apparently he didn't. He would have got thumped. Watch.
Does your husband call you babe?
I'm not married.
Okay, so even better.
I don't care.
Okay, so I would like for you to apologize because I'm being derogatory and second of all.
Is tranny derogatory to you?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course the fuck it is.
Tranny. Yeah. Tranny. If that's derogatory, you are
Did you hear that voice change? He was literally talking like a woman and went straight to his real voice. Yeah, so, I mean, what do you do with people like that? All right, so Gnome. I know a lot of people were out for Easter, but when you're a high-profile individual out there, I would think that high security comes with someone like Gnome, a detail and all this stuff, especially, I don't know, just when you're being blasted out there all the time. And most of the time, it seems like she does have security, but when you're out to eat with your family for Easter, I don't think the detail is with her. And someone took advantage of this. Someone robbed her. She had a shoulder bag that cost like $4,000. and a $600 Louis Vuitton purse, a Gucci B shoulder bag, and a Louis Vuitton purse that had $3,000 in cash, her DHS badge, a passport, her driver's license, credit cards, blank checks, medicine, apartment keys, all that. So someone made off with all that stuff. Law enforcement and security footage captured a white man in an N95 mask, dark pants, a fur-type collar, and a ball cap. He had a mask on. The individual that that stole this, but someone running around with their badge out there. Andrew Cuomo getting referred to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. Let's see this happen. Remember, Cuomo was on the clock when people were getting their vents pulled or whatever. When we were in lockdowns, there was a big issue and people were getting put on ventilators and the ventilators getting turned up and it was blowing the sacs in the lungs of the people. This is how a ton of people were dying. He's a facts jack. And he made a lot of those calls. He ordered a lot of those shots. So, yes, get some of these people in here. James Comer, he's the House Oversight Committee chairman. He's also a rep out of Kentucky here. He is referring him for this prosecution, saying that he's getting hit with this. They're hitting him with these charges. So, let's see it happen. Let's see it happen, but I don't have much faith in this circus, the DOJ, Bondi, and all this. It's just smoke and mirrors at this point, man. I've been in the game long enough to know left-right paradigm is real. The left and right wing are both part of the same bird. It's illusion of choice and establishment controlled. And you see this in the wide open when someone like Trump gets in there and you've got someone like, I don't know, Hillary that he said he was going to put in prison. Like this last time when he won, like she was there at his inauguration. And Bill, you know, all these people that would definitely be on the Epstein list. You know, Bill was on the freaking wall in a dress, for crying out loud. But yet he was at his inauguration. Again, Bill Gates was at dinner with Trump in Mar-a-Lago, like here recently after the election. So, like, this is a game. This is a show. Like, you can keep falling for it, or you can snap out of it. You can be one of the people over on social media saying, "Oh, the winning, this and that." You're disgusting. You're sickening. You should be calling out the stuff. There is no winning. How you dare act like you're celebrating something over there when we got all this other crap going on? You're over there cheerleading with your freaking pom-poms. It's freaking disgusting. And you're supposed to be our patriots. It is pathetic. It's disheartening. It's a damn shame, is what it is. From what I've learned out here, most of these cats I've come across all these years, they're in here for the money. It's it. It's all they've ever been in this for. Sell their product to you. It's all it is. They hijacked the movement to sell the product. It's pathetic. You don't nobody really care about nothing. I've come across vets. I've come across gang members, militiamen, this and that, former. Once they've got sucked up into the Trump movement, like black magic spell, they're gone. And a shout out to you guys that hear this, because some of you reach out and are like, "Yo, I used to have Patriot or militia groups all through my state, it seemed like, and like, I want to join one, and like, they're nowhere to be found. Like, where'd they go? Asking me, like I know. I have an idea. I told you they got sucked up into the whole MACA thing, and it's like a big gang thing. It's a gang mentality type thing. What do you think people call it a cult? I'm not saying everybody that voted for Trump or anything is like that is in a cult, but the whole MACA thing does have a satanic element to it, I do believe. And they put it right in front of your face with dark MACA. Just look at the connections. It's all there. The ritual, all the rituals. There's so many different rituals, all the way down to Trump getting his ear pierced. But you either can see this or you don't. At this point, you either have the eyes to see, and you want to know the truth, or you're just making excuses and you're turning a cheek. It's like one or the other here. We've had a problem in this country. We continue to have a problem. I, for one, don't trust the feds. Never will. They, from what I can tell, my research, are responsible for the murder and the deaths of anyone out there that ever rose against the beast. Anyone that's ever been assassinated. From your JFKs to your Lennons to your Tupacs. All of them. Any one of them that woke up at the last minute and realized, oh crap, these are the bad guys. And then they hatched a plan to do something. Michael Jackson. I mean, go on and on. Thank you, Edward, for the coffee. So many I've seen. All the boys, Chester Bennington, and all the crew that were working on releasing the whole child trafficking stuff, that all been killed. Chris Cornell, all of them. They've been Epstein. Are you kidding me? Can't you see? We're dealing with a mafia, a demonic, evil mafia that stops at nothing. They'll throw their own kind under the bus. They sure will. If they're not playing by the rules, if you're playing by the rules and you're doing what they want, you're making the sacrifices, they'll let you keep going. But the moment that things get out of hand and people think that they got more power than they really do, they get the card pulled. Like P. Diddy. For how long did P. Diddy go on doing what he did? Half of which hasn't even come out. Why did he get his card pulled? Well, because it got out of hand. Got out of control, and he checked, as far as I can tell. And see, you can get in trouble and get thrown in the pen, and you can make new sacrifices. You can pay dues. You can drain your bank account. You can give them all the rest of your fortune. You can cough up what you got, and they'll let you out, like Bill Cosby, and like Weinstein was trying to do. But if you ain't got no money, and they get you and put you in there, you ain't got nothing, no sacrifice to make, like R. Kelly. This night they're gonna throw you in there and throw away the key. This whole P. Diddy thing though is more Epstein-like. I gotta say, Epstein kind of took a page out of Diddy's book, because Diddy's been doing this longer than Epstein, or just as long. Let's just put it that way. Epstein was going back decades, but I mean, you could going back into the 90s, all the way back to mid-90s. Because even Suge Knight spoke about this. It said that this is the blackmail was all part of the game. He told a story where even they were doing it, but in a different aspect. See, that the death row and all them, they operated a little bit different, but it was all the same game. Bad Boy, Interscope, it was all connected through Jimmy Iovine and some Jewish overlords, so to speak, that were controlling the game. And still do, in many aspects. And some of these guys that are criminally implicated in this, like I believe, Clive Davis, which is obvious at this point with P. Diddy, Jimmy Iovine, these guys, like Jimmy Iovine, they should go after him, but nothing's going to happen at this point. They're going to drag this thing out so guys can live their life in... Jimmy Iovine's probably in the 70s, 80s. You're going to let them live it out and die. And they're going to pin all this on the dummy, as they see, on Diddy. Well, I got some updates here on Epstein here in a minute, and we're going to circle back to that. Sometimes these things just pop up, and I got to speak on them. All the influx of people coming into this country, it's not good. Look at the UK. Look at Ireland. It's turned them into chaos. Sweden is another. Sweden's murder rate now is higher than El Salvador's. after years of globalist mass migration and a plan and a plot to send these people in, Soros-backed, Jesuit Pope Francis-backed, all of it. And that's real. They're on record calling for it. James O'Keefe, apparently, he's got another hot one he's going to drop about, this time, Pentagon insiders that they've got on film. They often, get these guys go out and have a drink or two somewhere, have a bite to eat, and they're filming them, and these guys start speaking, and that's where we get all this information. We'll see what's coming to this. I will tell you this much. It looks like feds sent some people up to the house of one of his reporters to try to intimidate him. He drops a lot of stuff. But sometimes, man, when you get on to certain stories, when feds start paying visits and doing this and that, like, you could have some Seth Rich stuff pop off. And here's a crazy one. This has to do with Senator Ron Johnson speaking on Building 7 from 9/11. I'm going to tell you that we've known this stuff for decades. We've known this stuff for decades. Literally, right after 9/11. I mean, nonstop. All they showed it on TV. I lived through it. It's one of the things that makes me who I am. I watched the people jump. I watched it repeated day after day after day after day for months. And I started getting into all the documentaries like Fahrenheit 9/11 and all the other ones that really blew it open. What really happened. Shanksville, all of Building 7. All the clips I shared on my X feed earlier, a clip that they should have shown the whole time. It's a collage of people explaining about the explosions and not seeing a plane in the second tower, but these people literally looking up with their own eyes and seeing the explosions happen, but no plane. People on the inside of the building saying the same thing, and all the things that we've known for decades. This guy is coming out with Benny Schill over on X. He does an interview with him, and he just simply speaks on what we have told you for decades. For decades, literally, man. It's crazy I say that. I mean, I feel, oh, man. Like, this is 2001. Okay? Like, we figured this out rather quickly. Mossad, dancing Israelis, the whole thing. And, when Trump came out, he tried to shift the whole thing to where, like, yeah, they were dancing Muslims. When I saw that clip, I knew right there he was deflecting and lying. I mean, it's on video record, the people that they caught that were sent here. They went on a talk show, for crying out loud. And they can't take it back now. It's out there. It's there. And most of you should know at this point what I'm talking about. The guys that were driving the moving van, they had that showed on the side of it towers getting hit, and they said in the videos they were sent there to document the events of that day from Israel. I mean, that's out there. You can't take it back. You can't take it back. They wish they could, some of these things, man, but it smokes you. It smokes it. It's all right there. Same ones doing the same thing today. It's the same ones that murdered everybody. Don't you understand this? Same ones killed Kennedy, Lyndon, Park. Same that'll kill me one day, I'm sure. Same ones. Don't doubt it. Same beast. Same beast killed Jesus, They come from the synagogue of Satan. You see? And on 9/11, I watched the demons' faces come out of that smoke. And at the time, it was the premier event. As you go throughout the years, you go through all the rituals and things that they've conducted since. Well, that's why I keep saying that the next one is an economic 9/11, because it will be just that. It won't be material buildings coming down. It will be the economy coming down. But I wanted to shed light on this. For what it's worth, I guess it's, hey, if this is how they're going to do some disclosure on it, it's got to start somewhere. For some guys talking about how the heck did Building 7 come down when it was never hit. Well, like, it literally took you 2 decades to ask that question. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Timing is everything. They do everything for a reason. And for whatever reason now, they're trying to make it look like it's this big disclosure thing. And this is probably going to be their thing where they're saying, hey, yeah, this is what we're releasing what we know on 9/11. But they're probably always going to stick to the official script of, the hijackers and all this other crap. Man in a cave on the other side of the planet. Elon is going to be leaving the Doge scene here very soon. And I'm kind of interested to see where things go here. He's doing it primarily to save Tesla because Tesla's tanked. It's went down big time. Anyone that's owned Tesla, you know it. It's been hammered. And people that are driving Teslas are like, they're doing some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen. Literally putting stickers on their car and stuff that say F Elon and things like that. And taking the emblems off. Taking the Tesla emblems off, hoping people don't recognize it. And don't attack it. It's gotten pretty bad. So anyone invested in Tesla? I don't know what to say. It might have been. I'm going to say if he comes back in there and he steps out of this role, it may rebound some. So if you're looking to buy a dip, hey, I always say buy dips, sell dips. Low rider coming in, man. Brother, I appreciate you. More than you know. Much love, brother. To the fullest. Much love, Steve. Appreciate you too. Deanne. We're in a crazy time, man. I'm making my way here. I'm getting my way here to. I've got the very last thing I'm gonna speak on tonight is the space thing. And I'm making my way toward the 7-year peace plan right now. Getting cracking into it. Here's Trump on Epstein, real quick.
So when can we expect the Epstein documents to be released? The rest of them?
Which documents?
The Epstein files?
I don't know. I'll speak to the Attorney General about that. I really don't know. I know that we've done the RFK. The Kennedy, Martin Luther King is out there very shortly. So
He
we'll
deflects
find
to
out.
all these others.
We've really announced we're doing them in full transparency. You know, when we did JFK, people were saying, "Oh, maybe it wasn't all; it was all," and people actually went up to the office and they looked at some things that were, not really easily available, and they were amazed that we gave it all. And I don't know if it solved any problems for people. People still have questions one way or the other, but that I'm not. But 100% of all of these documents are being delivered.
He just said 100% of all the documents will be delivered. Are you kidding me? Much love, Eon. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that, Gary. In just a second. But I wanted to play this clip because he's such a master of deflection. he's getting asked about Epstein, and he's like, we put out there, RFK, Martin Luther, and this and that, and we put out everything on JFK, and he tried to say some people went up there and looked and were amazed. Like, who? Like, he makes up, that's garbage. A majority of the people said this isn't nothing because it was a flop. It was nothing. They tried to give a huge stack of stuff that was unredacted, but it still didn't answer nothing. He even admitted it there in the end. He's like, I'm not sure everyone's satisfied. Yeah, it's because you threw him a bone. It was a big bone this time to chew on, but it was still a bone. It had any meat on it, right? And it didn't point to the true root of it. It's all distraction. Between everything he just said, they've got distraction after distraction after distraction after distraction after distraction. They got them all lined up. Like, you wonder why we can't get an answer or anything going with Fort Knox, because they have so many distractions lined up, one after another, after another, after another, after another. It's freaking ridiculous. But that's how black magic works also. They're masters at this. He is a wizard. Don't get it twisted. And let's keep it pushing here. His protege, so to speak, because that's what I view him as. J.D. Vance, he looks to be the guy that they're going to try to pass the torch off to if Trump steps away. Fully here is what it looks like for me. And T, I think of the coffees. Much love. Much love, 707. Turn it down a hair. So JFK's radical grandson is accusing J.D. Vance of killing the Pope in this online rant. And it is crazy timing that J.D. Vance goes and meets him. And this is it. Shakes his hand. And look, it was a Masonic hand on the knuckle, holding it right there. Remember this. That's part of, there's many different Masonic handshakes, but in terms of allegiance and high ranking, this is a well-known one here. Middle knuckle hold there, and the Pope did it. He put it on him, and it's plain to see. But this grandson of JFK is trying to say that the Vance showed up and somehow killed him because he meets him and the very next day he's dead. Look, it's not too hard to see. There wasn't much keeping Francis alive. He was hanging by a thread. So there's images that show J.D. Vance showing up, and let me show you. Fire it up. Show you here. What do we have? Who do we have here? Do you know what you're looking at here? Do you know what you're looking at here? In many ways, I'd say the future. Where they're taking this. Do you know what you're looking at? That's right, Mark. And do you see what Peter the Roman is doing? The Masonic handshake with his thumb on the knuckle. And J.D. Vance's thumb is on the knuckle. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? I mean, his thumb on the knuckle is a giveaway. Right there, on top. This is Masonic handshake, okay? This is Pietro. From where? Rome. That's right. This is literally, regardless if this man is made the next pope or not, you were looking by the name. And there's three Peters in the upper echelon here in terms of the votes to become the pope. Okay? But there's only one that's from Rome. Only one. And he just so happens to be the leader of the whole thing right now. He's the highest in command behind the pope. This man, Peter the Roman. You were looking at him. Much love, Wake Up America. We've talked about it before. So many people said this and that. People were even attributing the name and all that falsely to Francis because of a misread. And let me restate that tonight, if you don't know, okay? Because people want to show up late to the party all the time and think, and they'll drop a link to say, the prophecy of the popes, the prophecy of Saint Malachi, and they'll be like, well, in Malachi it says this and that. Well, you obviously didn't stop to listen to the update again. They'll constantly come back just throw a link to Malachi. But the prophecy says this, and it's like, no, you're not tuning in. You're one of those people that only shows up in the X feed once a month, late to the party when we've discussed this live many times, to try to get it through to you. I don't know. Look, I'm just going to leave it right here like this. This whole thing is on Jesuit command. If you want to know who runs the whole show at the top, it's like this. The Pope sits at the top, calling all the shots, Jesuit command, but above him is another. So they're making this big spectacle over the Pope. But he has a boss. He's called the Black Pope. And again, it's very real. If you don't know this, you need to look this up and do the homework. It's very real. They control the whole game. It's all on Jesuit command. When you look at Democrats and Republicans and you find out that they're Jesuits, they're on the same dang team. It's just like John Kerry and the first George Bush. Go back and do your homework and look. They're both bonesmen. They're both skull and bonesmen. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican. But dude, they're deep. They're tied in, bonesmen, in a deep, deep cult. Do you understand? And they fan out into both branches to play the game, to fool the people. Okay, that's how it's played. I hope you understand this now, because this is how it's set up. Okay? So when I see the future here, this is Peter the Roman, okay? In the prophecy of St. Malachi, the Lignum Vitae, it states that there will be one that comes between the olive, which is Benedict, and Peter the Roman. It's a short sentence. It was attributed to Peter the Roman. It was thrown into the Peter the Roman paragraph the whole time. It was always attributed. It was read wrong, basically. So now they're reading it, basically saying, well, look, it was misinterpreted. There's clearly a sentence before you get to the Peter the Roman whole part, and after Benedict, that says there will be one between the two. And that's all it says. Doesn't have a full paragraph. It's literally just a line, and that's why it got thrown in with the rest, because it was so small. But it clearly states that there will be one between the two. So because that was overlooked and people can't seem to get it right now. That's why I keep repeating it, because people need to get it right. They need to see the information, what they're saying. That it was misinterpreted this whole time. So you need to get the newest information logged into your brain. That this is what is going. This is why on the wall there's another spot after Francis, and there has been the whole time. Trust me, back when I was putting the original videos, people would be coming at me trying to make up every excuse under the sun for why that last spot's going to be there and that it's not going to be a pope. And where are they at now tonight? Nowhere to be freaking seen. Come popping their gums, running their mouths about what they were brainwashed with with stuff that was wrong. I try to keep people up to speed with the newest information. No one's perfect, especially when information has been misinterpreted, so to speak, for so long, until you realize and figure out that something was read wrong, or like I just told you, a sentence that explains Francis was thrown into the Roman pile, basically. It's pretty simple. And when you look at it at face value, it speaks for itself. The sentence, the line, all of it speaks for itself. So, anyhow, Francis is dead. There's one last spot on the wall, and they are about, here in the coming weeks, they're going to hold this whole process where they elect and select the next pope, so that you know, and it's going to happen. Okay? For all the deniers, say that it's not, I can't, it won't happen. Francis was the last. Well, it's about to happen. You're going to see it. And my money, at this point, is on this man, the most powerful man in the church at this point. And that's why he's grinning ear to ear. He is the one that said the final prayers over Francis's body. You can see it over on my X account. I put an image out, a tweet out on it. Like, look who it is. Look who it is of all people. Peter the Roman. Officially by name. You don't need to make nothing up to try to make it work, to make it fit, or any of that crap like they did with Francis. It's his literal name. Okay? I'm sick of it. People just need to hang it up. Like, if it is what it is. Sometimes. You know? Like, here we are. At this crazy moment in time. Where Peter the Roman is stepping. Well, he's already in power as I see it in the church. Right now, it's why he's grinning ear to ear. He is the most powerful man in the church. He was the most powerful man behind the Pope. So, he is my lead pick to take this. This comes at a time where crazy things are happening on the world stage. Like with Trump being dubbed the Gentile Messiah. And all that. And let's start to tear into that. Well, before I do, I gotta state this. I can't let this one slide. Klaus Schwab. I put a video out on this today. He's going down. He thought that he was gonna get away with, I don't know, everything that they've done. He was gonna slip into the shadows and get away with it. Well, he's not. Because I think he's pissed off some people. And anytime you piss people off to a degree like this, specifically like this, where you mistreat people for years, everyone around you like they're lessers, and you think that you're going to get out and ride off to the sunset, and yet you've got whistleblowers that can take you down, they're going to take you down. And they're taking him down. So Klaus Schwab, he created the whole World Economic Forum. Has ran this whole thing for 50-some years. Created a monster, so to speak. Well, they're turning on him. And he was going to step down and like kind of linger around till 2027. That was the initial plan, but not now. Now he's like done. Because these allegations are being thrown on him of financial and ethical misconduct. And you can only imagine how they treated people, these snobs, up there in Davos, acting like they're don't stink. And they're plotting great reset plans on us. So these plans are being rolled out still. Don't get it twisted. Just because this guy may even get arrested or anything like that doesn't mean that these plans are going away. No, these are World Economic Forum. The whole clan is a part of these plans. He is just getting checked because, again, when you piss people off, take all the maids that might have been treated like crap, spat on, talked down to, sexually mistreated, all these other things. Well, this is what they're saying on top. They're saying that he withdrew thousands, could be into the hundreds of thousands, in cash by using junior staffers as gophers. He would send them with their cards and to pull out all this money and say that it would be okay, and they would have to bring him back the money. And he would do this like all the time. I'm going to tell you right there, he's going to get burnt. Right there. And when you've got all these people, gophers, that you've pissed off, they're all going to testify to it. He charged private hotel massages, apparently, to the World Economic Forum accounts. That's kind of petty to me. But when I hear massages, it opens the door to other things. That's where I think that this thing's going with that word. What kind of massages? Any underagers in there? And who knows what else? We'll see where that one goes. They allowed his wife to book luxurious vacations disguised as business travel. If they can prove this, which they're acting like they can, they'll hit him here. He utilized the property of the World Economic Forum, specifically the Villa Mundi, as his private retreat. Every time there was conferences there and all this stuff. And, I mean, they're throwing everything at him here, so take him down. Let's see some charges. Let's see him go to jail. For crying out loud. For committing crimes. But, it never happens. It never happens. So I tell you all these things, but until I see this guy go to jail, literally, big time, he's a key player out here. But he's been replaced by the former Nestle CEO that is just another globalist. So it's replace one with another. All right, now I'm going to jump into some of the military stuff here around the globe, and this is going to tie into the whole 7-year thing here. We had a mystery explosion in Moscow. Apparently, something somehow hit this depot, and it caused a freaking mushroom cloud. They're being kind of tight-lipped on it, but this is a main missile factory. And, they're in the middle of a war here. No word on exactly what caused it, but you can see from this massive mushroom cloud. I wouldn't want to be very near one of them depots when they go up. Especially if you're in a war. I would think about that if... I don't know what we got where across America, but if you're close to any kind of munitions depot or anything like that, especially down by the border right now, you might want to think about this. A place like that gets hit by, I don't know, cartel members that are pissed off because they just got drone struck. Sizable mushroom clouds could be popping off anywhere. But yeah, much love tacos. Where are we at here? Oh yeah, we got pretty much a late start tonight. But I'm glad everything. We were able to get the stream off to this point. And I thank all you guys out there for hanging with me tonight. We did start with technical difficulties. And I'll do a bit of I'll swing back around and talk about a few things at the end. A recap on some things and some thoughts and all that. Cash. Man, cash. I'm telling you. Such a blessing. Such a blessing. Like you and Eon always coming through the way you do. And everybody that supports the channel, man, I can't thank you enough. Everybody in their own ways. Just can't thank you enough, man. It's truly appreciated. Again, I'm going to give some updates and on some things and some recaps here at the end. since this was kind of a confusing stream, I'm just glad that we got it on pace. Ukraine. I'm hoping this is going to be over. Let's hope that this is about to end. I have a feeling that this whole thing's going to come to a close because they're trying to present Trump as a man of peace and this peacemaker. You can't do that if he can't strike up peace. If he's failing everywhere he goes, that's not what they wanted to do. It's not the image they wanted to portray. They wanted him to be able to step up in all these instances and be the man of peace. The man of peace that they call him. That the Jews were calling him, the rabbis. The black hatters, Lubavitches. That seem to have their hands on him and everything. Well, let me go to this next one. Zelensky and this whole thing is obviously controlled thoroughly by them. By the Mossad, by all that, because it's all tied in. They try to keep it separated out there, but all this war front, all this stuff, it's all tied in. This is all Khazaria. All of Ukraine. I mean, and look who you're dealing with Netanyahu. They are of the synagogue. They're not even real. So, like, what's Zelensky say here? He wants to meet Trump now in Rome at the Pope's funeral, at the big boss's headquarters, basically, here on this world stage. Well, no, Trump ain't buying it at this point. He's not playing that game. They seem to be turbo, and I mean turbo, pissed off at Zelensky. And I'm going to tell you, man, that it's to the point to where if Trump can't get his way, they're either going to walk away or they're going to, approve him getting removed. So, however it is. If Russia wants to decapitate, strike him, take him out in a suburb, potentially take out a couple innocent people to get him, they're going to sit back and they're going to let him do it. Because Zelensky's the number one and only thing that I can tell right now stopping the whole peace process. And it's almost like he's heavily influenced by the EU, by Macron, and the whole left-leaning global establishment. That seems to be, obviously, what's propping him up full scale. It seemed like the United States forever, right? But now we're disconnecting from the whole thing. And I'm interested in seeing what kind of peace deal can really come between that, between Russia and Ukraine, because it's going to bring about only good things economically, I feel, between the United States and Russia. I mean, if it's good, it's good, right? I've seen enough bad. I'm sick of bad. Why can't we just get along with them? And I have to live with the threat of nukes in World War III with Russia. Why can't we just, both huge Christian nations, why can't we embrace it and get along? Both red, white, and blue. And get over it. Together, nobody can mess with us. We proved that at the end of World War II. I say it all the time. Us coming together with Russia, no one could stop it. No one could touch it. Back then, China was like nothing. It was nowhere near. We helped China to become what it is. The world's a stage. The Rothschilds have had control of China since the days of Mao. Mao came in there, took the guns from all the people, murdered tens of millions, and has been under the same control ever since. The world is a stage. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Xi Jinping is Western trained. He's Western. Let's do your homework again. Look at how good of friends he was with Henry Kissinger. If you don't know these things, it'll peel your cap back. The world is a stage, man. And once you realize all this, you're going to be like, what? There's no way. Be like, well, yeah, we're getting played. That's all this is about, is playing the people. Well, why would all these people be in bed together from different countries to play humans and to slaughter them? It seems to me they're doing it because they don't have the heart. They don't have the heart the courage, the bravery, whatever you want to call it, to take on their bosses, who they're bowing down to. And it is the fallen ones. Call them demons, call them whatever you want. They are here. They are the ones really in control of all this. All the rest is a puppet show. It's an excuse to fool the masses on why you're just murdering and maiming the rest of them all the time. It's what it is. It's what I've come to the conclusion of. These things are here. It's given them all the technologies. Like Russia, the US, like we've got the same high technologies. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a play on the masses. We're almost at a point where we're like obsolete, and it's scary. This timeline in history. You get to a point where you have a race of humans, mankind, like that did all these things and have lived here for all this time, but now a technology has come along that anything that the human could do, the technology could do, but better. The term useless eaters comes to mind all of a sudden. When, if you're them, that means a big event's got to come to slaughter people. That's why I really fear they're going to release something to do it. At some point. All right, but keeping on with Ukraine here. Let me get through this. Trump slams Zelensky. Zelensky says he's not giving up Crimea. I put out a video years ago on my channel. It says, is this the reason for big war? It's got like hundreds of thousands of views. It's talking about Crimea. I talk about the ancient history of it. I dive into all types of stuff. But man, look, it comes down to that again. This very agreement to bring peace over this whole thing, to stop potential world war, it comes down to this one little piece of land. And it was crazy because back when I was hitting on this before, Justin Timberlake had this song out, and it was called Cry Me a River. But it's a play on words. The river that runs through there, the whole thing, it was a very popular song at the time, Cry Me a River. But it was, people just don't get it, the black magic. And Justin Timberlake showed you on his album cover, he's looking through his hand, like the OK sign, the magic. I think the title was even something to do with magic. Like, it's right in your face, man. It's been there the whole time. Try to decipher it for you, but you've got to learn to have the eyes to see. So, Vance, to sum this up with Ukraine, he puts pressure to say, look, you better do this now or like it's done. Like, they're targeting Zelensky heavily. This is going to favor Russia, no doubt, in many ways. But Putin has turned around and offered to halt all fighting along the current front lines, and that's crazy. He hasn't done this yet. Matter of fact, here recently, he said he didn't want to have any truce because all it did was give the enemy a chance to recoup and this and that. They were just going to continue pounding away. But then they stopped for Easter, which was surprising, but it shows you their true faith in Christianity and everything else. And it was crazy because you saw from drone footage, you saw 2 Ukrainian soldiers and 2 Russian soldiers on the front lines in the battlefield, like touch hands, like that close. And like, we don't know what they said. One can only wonder. But man, to have to turn around, go back to your post, and then put guns on them same men. Like something happens out there. Not to mention that the roots of a lot of these Ukrainians are Russian and everything else. They're all tied in together, their history. And like, it's ridiculous. It's the slaughter of this type of people. And it's crazy because the power structure that controls this planet the black hats, that control Trump and everything else, they're on record. Their top man is on record talking about Khazaria and talking about that these people have been chosen for liquidation. I'm telling you, these people are crazy. It's in their religion to like take us and kill us. Like if you had anything like that in your religion, they would call you a terrorist and all this other stuff. Like, but yet, this is how it is. It's insane. You know, the same people that killed Jesus, Yeshua, they're still out here, man. They'll kill any one of us. You see what happens in Palestine right now? By the way, all the time, the babies' heads blown off constantly, every day, genocide, constantly. You know, and what was Jesus believed to be? What did he look like? And everything else. And people, I don't know, all kinds of people got their opinions. But as far as I could tell, Hebrew, right? And as it was written, what in the models, a Palestinian Jew? Look what they do to the Palestinian people to wipe them out. Where will the peace come? Well, it may be here. Huh? False peace, huh? Just like a false Messiah. Everything that we've ever warned you about. Huh? Final Pope stepping onto the scene. All that. Trump's on the clock. They've labeled him the Gentile Messiah. Their Messiah's here. If you guys don't know, he's in Israel. The Yanuka's here. If you're late to the party. They plan to have him sit inside this temple that they're about to begin building any moment, any time. Just this week, they took a massive group of the Jews up to the steps on the Temple Mount at the Alaska Mosque, and they were putting their spells out onto it and praying fully. So you know what's about to happen, don't you? It's that time. Okay, so Iran, obviously, the big bad boogeyman opposite Israel, so it's supposed to seem. We're sending more bombs for this. Everything's ramping up, and they're turning toward Pakistan, Iran, and China. This big alliance. On the other side, with Russia being the wild card, so it seems. And Russia would be a huge rug pull on China and all of them, all of BRICS, if they could do it. All right, so here we go. 7-year peace plan. A shout out to Uncommon News for doing a video on this himself. Check him out over here on YouTube. Give him a follow. He's down in El Paso. He's been working the border, giving us news from out of there for years now. But he caught this one, sent it my way earlier, and this is a big one because it echoes the biblical stuff. When you start hearing of 7-year peace plans, that echoes biblical stuff. And we are in a biblical crazy time. We are in a crazy window. There's no doubt about it. We are there. We're in it. So this takes you to another level in it. This secret Israel-Gaza peace plan. And for it to count as something, it has to involve Israel here, right? It may lead to a 7-year ceasefire. And the IDF leaving Palestine. And boy, you're talking about the anti comes in. 7 years of peace gets put in, and halfway through it, it all goes down, and tribulation breaks loose. I mean, does anybody even read this anymore? Like, I know some of you do, but like, it's like the rest of the crowd like is lost. I guess truly only a remnant was going to make it out of this or see it for what it is. Because all the rest of the crowd is like lost and don't even care. We're in a crazy time. So they are talking legitimately. And this is posted to the BBC, and this is on MSN right here. Senior Palestinian officials familiar with this whole thing are saying that if Israel and Hamas can work out the ceasefire through negotiations, and Qatari and Egyptian mediators are going to be a part of it as well, that they could do this. They could put together a lasting 5 to 7 year peace plan, a window where they can exchange hostages, all this other stuff. So, look, man. If a 7-year peace plan goes into motion from here, I mean, someone could say it's got to happen at some point, right? Like, we're like there. Like, you done said it. Like, just get this party started, right? We're like, it's time. You know, only thing left is huge events here in the United States. I feel the big economic bomb. Trump sent to reset this whole thing globally. But also look like the hero. You see what I'm saying? But to also look like the hero. This Prince of Peace, as they called it. So if he can work out peace with Ukraine, and who knows, get him into this peace plan somehow, which all they gotta do is just have him put his 2 cents into it, and like he's connected. I guess it doesn't even matter anything from here. They've dubbed him what he is, Gentile Messiah, gave him a silver crown. I think before peace happens, though, maybe you see some big events. Does something happen on Temple Mount from here? Very soon. Does something happen? My money's on yeah. I would say yeah. They're right there. Oh, and as they're trying to talk about this stuff with Israel, look what Israel's doing. They're deploying unmanned bulldozers into Gaza for large-scale warfare. So they're talking about peace over here, but at the same time, like, they ain't messing around. And these are, like, unmanned. They're robotic. Probably AI connected and everything else that you could think of. Literal bulldozers. Like, people could be in their homes, and these dozers are going to be bulldozing them down. With people in them, no doubt. They care not. Why would they care? This is... So, you know, a lot of this place is rubble. And they're going to send in these dozers to start bulldozing places. So people are not going to be going back to rebuild. They're going to have automatic, robotic, massive dozers dozing everything. Like... Do they have anything to stop that? No, they don't. When they get those sticks and stones at it. How are you going to stop this? What would you do if that was you? Huh? Alright, so this brings me to the Space Force talk. Warfighting framework. What this is revealing is that they are preparing something massive for space. War for space. So much so that they admit that there needs to be rules for war. And that's what they're doing here. Like here on Earth, whenever war breaks out, there's rules of engagement, rules of war, so to speak, and different sets of rules. But internationally, there's a common set that's accepted. You're not supposed to use certain weapons on people, which they do, like white phosphorus and things like that, and the stuff they used, like in Vietnam and all this other stuff. Like, you're not supposed to use certain stuff, but they do. Anyhow, the rules have to be set regardless. That's how it's said. Now they're setting them for space. On how to conduct orbital warfare. And they're very serious because they're ready to start initiating moves by putting ships, satellites, weaponry, everything else into position. They want the ability to project military power in space and to protect all of our satellites or any other asset that is in orbit. That's what they're saying right now. Remember, this whole thing sparked on Trump's watch last time, and I'll never forget it. Because it's dumb people out there, just like, they laugh, they try to laugh everything off or turn cheek or not take it serious. When they announced Space Force, and I said it, they did that. They were like, it's not real. Like, dude, some of you have been smacked around with the stupid stick one too many times. It is very real. And they've proved that. And fast forward to now. Now, they're putting the doctrine of a warfighting domain into motion, the rules, so to speak. And they're making moves. I know that they've got weapons up there. So does Russia, China at this point. Subspace isn't a hard achievement. They can get there. They can put satellites up there. An ISS that's not out past the Van Allen belts. It's all an area that they can easily get to and operate in. And conduct war in. We seem to be approaching a time. If you want to talk about false peace, if their Messiah, especially out of Israel, comes and sets in their new third temple, they will all be calling on a global peace. It would be him. And second to him, almost like a vice global antichrist, is Trump. And I'm not making that up. That's not me hating on Trump. That's not me dissing him because I don't like him or something like that. No. This is what they've dubbed him. The rabbis have dubbed him the Gentile Messiah. He comes second only to their Messiah. Well, who's their Messiah? Again, if you've been living under a rock, it is the Yanuka. He is here. He has miracles he has performed right now. Because you don't see it on your evening news, you're asleep. Because your neighbor's not talking about it or stuff, but the man is here. He's in the flesh. You can look at the videos, he's alive. And they're attributing these things to him. He is the Yanuka. He is the one on their shekel. On their money. Hidden. And I showed you this years ago. Because people in Israel that caught on to this told me. They sent me the stuff. And they even warned me ahead of time. Saying that before the October 7th stuff that Israel's 9/11 was going to happen. And I told you guys this. Man, this world's a stage. Well, if the world is a stage, what is space? You know, think about it. What the old saying, the world is a stage. What is space? To me, it's like a big billboard for projection. They can do anything they want there. We know they can project the Most High coming in on the clouds. They could have everybody crap in their pants, and it'd be fake. And they could have you coughing up your weapons, turning them into plowshares. Three and a half years into this peace, trib goes full blown. That is prophecy. We're not talking conspiracies, conjecture. That is the prophecy. We live in crazy times, man. And they're taking us to space. Okay, so you're going to hear from here me speak on a lot more connected to this. It's more rules, weapons, countries, and all this stuff get rolled out. And if we go to full-blown war with China and it ramps up, you best believe that, like, this is all going to tie in. I mean, Russia has put on display in Ukraine, if you've been paying attention, the newest weaponry and technology. It's amazing. The hypersonic missiles, it drops like liquid lava. It's what it looks like. It drops so quick. It turns everything into just it obliterates it. There's nothing that can stop it. No one has proven yet that they can stop one. No one's shown it on the battlefield. Okay, Israel's over there trying to act like they got a little Iron Dome. They can shoot down normal rockets, but you ain't touched a hypersonic. Of course, ain't no one tried to drop one on them yet. I'm telling you, if they do, it's done. Anywhere they drop a hypersonic, unless you've got a higher technology to counter it, you're done. I believe they do got higher technologies to counter it, but it's only in the possession of certain people in certain countries. And again, the world is a stage, man. They call them theaters of war for a reason. I'm telling you, when you live through this long enough, you're going to see all of it. It's a game. It really is, man. You got to find a way to make it out the game. For real. Space farce, Burns Jones says. Yeah, I mean, it's, you mean call it what you want, but it's ominous. It's got an ominous tone to it and feel where we're at. We can know what they're up to and that they are farce and that they're the one, all this, but it doesn't stop it from being any more crazy. It doesn't stop the populace to get any more duped. Again, we're a remnant. We're sitting here talking about all night, all the time. But what about all the other people out there, the millions and millions that are not hearing this message, that are going to be subjugated to all this? How they react, how they're used. That's a big thing, man. I mean, it's a big thing now. They're doing it. They did the same thing. They got the whole herd behind Trump. They hit him with black magic. It's the same thing, man. I try to present ways out, opportunities when I see them, to counter this the best I can. I've told you over the years, if, going off grid is definitely your best plan for survival for these events. I'll be the first to tell you, living off grid, for most people out there, city slickers and this and that, it's not going to be an easy life for you, living day to day, when life is normal still, so to speak. But when all hell breaks loose and the world shuts down, if you've got an off-grid setup, it's going to be like heaven. It's going to be like a paradise. Because you're going to have everything. You're still going to have power. You're still going to be catching water and cleaning. You're still going to be growing crops. You're going to be living, surviving. You still even have internet, all the things. While the rest of the world is shutting down. Being off-grid has its advantages. But technology, man, it's a double-edged sword out there. And again, it's about who controls it. We got a bunch of guns in here. Hopefully the good guys get their hands on them. But if the bad guys get their hands on them and start killing people, we can't say that, again, that guns are bad, can we? No. If UFO has technology on it, anti-gravitics, and we find out that the aliens are bad, or the fallen in there are bad, we can't say, oh, anti-gravitics is bad. You can't, because it's not. It's very good. It's just another technology. People, the ignorance of some people would be so quick to fear certain things, and put the blame in the wrong place, the fear in the wrong place, and the fear, period. We got to get over fear, man. I say this because I do feel a big show's coming. I feel they're gonna pull off a huge show in the heavens, man. We all know it. We've all been hip to it, and you all have heard the Project Blue Beam a million times. I think it's beyond that, though. It's not just Project Blue Beam. I think it's going to be a combination of things, and I think some of it's going to be very real. And it could be the introduction of the fallen, which scares me the most, because they're going to try to present these things as being angelic or the chosen or good guys. And they're not. It reminds me, now that I think about it, of the V. Remember the old movie, The V? I like the old one from back in the day. But the newer series from here a few years back, they quit it for whatever reason. But in it, their leader that came here, and they were trying to act like peaceful. And it's like a false peace again, like trying to play this game. And of course, they were the lizards disguised as people. Which, again, I think is very real. I think that the superior intelligent species, the fallen species that's here, is reptilian in nature. It's just how it is. That's how it is. That's how I believe it is, and it's set up. We, too, even have a reptilian part of our brain. It's facts, Jack. The fallen have been here the whole time. They were put here to watch us and look over us. They were superior beings, so to speak, intellectually, in a lot of ways. They were put here to watch over us, and they crossed the line. They crossed the line. Started mating with their women. You see, every time I bring this up, it's like, why do people trip on any kind of other life out here? They told you, if you believe in your good book at all, they already told you these things are here. They landed on Mount Hermon. The same Mount Hermon Israel was snatched up first and foremost when Israel went down. Where they landed. And you know that there's a scar on the planet up there? Me and Casey discovered it years ago and talked about it on many live streams. And you look at it through satellite imagery, there is a scar, a mark on Mount Hermon. Same Mount Hermon Jesus spoke of. You know, it's where the Nephilim were born, the giants. It's all real, man. These cats are very real. And I believe that it's this power structure that sold us out. I believe our kind, our government, and all them that caught on to this, they're satanic anyway. What is satanic? It's worshiping them. It's worshiping the jinn, this whole setup. Again, let me bring it full circle to you. Who are the evil spirits that are on the other side? Who are the evil spirits tempting you every day? To do drugs, to do bad sexual things, to do all things. Who are the evil spirits? They are the Nephilim. That's who they are. The evil spirits running around here every day are the Nephilim. That's who they are. Who are the Nephilim? The Nephilim are the offspring in the physical flesh of the fallen in us. Monsters, so to speak. They consumed everything in their path, even us. What does the Bible say? People didn't want to come in this place no more. Sound familiar? As in the days of Noah. People didn't want to come in this place no more. Souls didn't. They didn't want to cycle in. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about this place? So, the Most High said, well, what's the problem? And the angels responded, and they said, look, they've gotten out of hand, the Nephilim. They destroyed everything. Where did these monsters come like gremlins? Where'd they come from? They come from this unholy matrimony of the fallen, the watchers, and humans. A mix that God had to know was going to happen, but told them not to do it, and they broke the rules. So the Nephilim started eating everybody and made this place crazy, and they flooded it. if you want to know the history of this place, they wiped it out. Floodwaters receded. Some were still here. And then all of a sudden, something changed. Man got manipulated. Our life changed. I'm here to tell you that it's pretty common sense to me, like obvious. Like, we're not the same thing as anything before the flood. All the humans before the flood were different. All of them. Giant or not, they were different. They were different. And they told you. And I'm going to prove it to you right here. Because right after the flood, we stopped living past 120 years. We were redesigned. During this event, during this process, all the humans seated back onto this planet could only live to 120 years. Everyone beforehand was living hundreds of years. That sounds like an interesting body. I would love to go dig up Noah's body, or I don't know, Gilgamesh, or any of them. They wouldn't be like us. They're technically not human. Do you understand this? These are facts, Jack. These are facts. We are a different species created right at the moment of this flood. They can only live 120 years. So then what happened? Noah's family and all the people that were on the planet. And where did all these people come from then? They popped up out of nowhere. Yes, they did. And you'll see in all the other scripture. They started intermingling with Noah's families and all this. And then problems started happening. The jinn were testing man, tempting man, harder than they could take. This is in the beginning. This is when God first said, this is right when he killed all the giants. All the giants got wiped out, the Nephilim, and their souls were trapped here like genies in a bottle. We all are, right? And God said, your job from here is to tempt mankind. God said this. This is why you got to understand, this is how this place is made. It's written. I'm just telling you, man. Okay? So, Noah, his family and all them were getting tempted more than they could handle. So Noah prayed to God and asked God to stop it. And he did. He sent down Michael and the archangels and all this, and what they did is they basically bottled up. They took away a majority of the jinn and only left a tenth. That is what we contend with today. The hierarchy, the spirit that tempts you today is a tenth of what it was right at the gate. It was so hardcore, so potent, so evil, rampant, right at the gate, that Moses had to pray to God to have him stop it. And he did. He cut it down to a tenth. Okay? So, this place is designed to tempt you. Don't you ever forget it. It is clear. They took a lot of these books out because they didn't want you to get the full picture. They wanted to keep you just slightly in the know. But when you put all the pieces in, you see what this place is. And I wish you luck. You have to get to this point to start to figure it out and get it figured out first. And then you have to live righteous to walk it out. That's the trick of getting out of here. You have to live it out. You have to have the faith. You have to walk it out righteous. You have to believe. And you have to do the good. You have to live the way that they asked. Not just do good things. You have to literally live. Your body functions different when you feed it the food and you live the way they asked you to live. When you stop putting the things in it and doing things to it, your temple, it reacts, it becomes an antenna of what you are. And if you don't ever have that antenna turned on, they're never going to see you. never make it out of here. And that essentially is the biggest thing I could ever tell you. All this madness, I just want you to get out of here. I want other good spirits, when we drop these bodies, to be with me on the other side, wherever we're gathering, waiting for judgment. We're sitting there like, yo, bumping fists, this and that, yo. We did it. We did the best we could. I thank all of you to fight the good fight. It's what it is. It's to overcome the evil, the jinn. Knowledge is power. You can't begin to fight this battle if you don't know what you're up against. You see? Knowing all of this is key. If you're blind to how this place operates, you're such a victim to it. You're fair game for the demons and the wickedness to just pick apart. It's what I call putting on your armor of God. Getting this knowledge and having it. And being protected. You have to believe in the Spirit. That's real. You gotta believe, man. It's not just a cheesy saying. Look how real the evil is. There's an opposite to it. Sure, it is to everything. There's an opposite to everything. You've got to know this. Never forget that. You've been struggling. You're not religious. You've been wrestling with God over all these issues and wanting answers and all this stuff. Well, I'm trying to tell you and give you clarity. This is what this place is. No preacher, no pastor, no teacher has ever told you. I'll tell you tonight. So what you do with it is on you. I would spread the gospel, spread the word. Yeshua, Jesus. He left the keys. He left them for me in a lot of his quotes. And if you're not religious or spiritual or anything like that, you can make whatever. And that's fine. If you want to be like that, you're going to miss the whole thing. If you want to say somebody, I'm not a Bible thumper type, so to speak. But if you want to be someone that like turns a cheek to it and runs away, you're never going to figure this out. You're never going to figure this out. I, for one, want to see people get up out of here. And I find inside of the scripture, there's things that have been hidden. For whatever reason, I've been given the eyes to see it, the keys to unlock it. I don't know how, whatever you want to call it. Someone left a riddle, something hidden, a code within the scripture. And that may sound crazy to you, but I'm going to tell you it's true and it's real and it's divine and of the Holy Spirit, of the higher power, of the Godhead. It encoded it within Scripture. It's a message. It's the same hidden message over and over and over. And it's very simple. To live your life righteous and to obtain the oil of gladness. And if you don't believe in other things in which I call it, and thank you, Deanne, look up the oil of gladness. You'll see it's a real thing. It's in your Bible. It's not just me making something up. It's what I call the chrism. And it is a fluid within your body that you produce when you live the way they asked you to. It's a cycle. So many are missing it. They're living and they're dying. They came and they went and they never even knew it. I'm living proof I know it. Because I gave up things in my life and I walked the way it asked me to. And I raised my chrism. When you do this, you know it. Because it's almost like a sixth sense. I call it knowing. The gift is what I call knowing. Just knowing. It's like sixth sense. Just knowing things. And It's like you turned something else on, and you only achieve it by walking and living righteous. Okay? And look, some people trip on what they don't know all the time, but I'm going to tell you this. They left hidden all over the place, these things. The whole thing with pork and pigs, you wonder why it's such a thing, and you wonder why it smells so good. It's truly a temptation, and it's a perfect example. Because it smells so good, and can be so savory, and all these things, it's the perfect thing to tempt you. Can you overcome that? Let's just start there. If you can't overcome that, then you're not going to be able to overcome a lot of harder things. But let's just start there. Why? Why is this shunned? It's about discipline. It's about if you can listen, first off, and if you can, there's reward. If you can't, you're going to suffer. Well, a pig is designed to be low-level energy. Okay? You are aspiring to be high-frequency, high-level energy that ascends out of here. Okay? You need not have any weight connected to you to keep you held down to this place. You need not have anything low-frequency holding you down or stopping you from functioning correctly. When you ingest low-frequency, bottom feeders, you become that energy. You become weighed down by that energy. You've never taught this, but this is the truth. This is why in Deuteronomy it tells you, I give you everything to eat that has a split hoof, but not the things that don't, like a horse. There's rules. People choose to ignore them. And somebody's watching. And here tonight, I'm going to set this straight so that you know, and you've been warned clearly, while the Most High watches, as you hear that there are rules that many are ignoring. And if you want to shape up and ship out, you've got to be seen first. How do they know to come and rescue? What soul am I to come and get if I can't see it? If you can't simply do what we ask you to do, how am I even going to see you? You have to become the beacon that you were designed to be. And to do it, you have to listen. Okay? You were told not to eat bottom feeders like catfish. Pigs that wallow in their own crap. Jesus gave you the example. If you have the eyes to see, let you see this. He cast the spirits out of people. And what did he cast them into? The swine. All right? This is all in code. The swan immediately went into the water. And that's what killed them. Okay? That's what took them out. That's the only thing that they could do to set those evil spirits free out of them, was instant death. Okay? What did he do? He attached evil energy to the swine rather easy. Why? Because they're one and the same. They can operate in the same frequency realm. One and the same. When you remove these things from your diet and your body and your system, you remove that frequency. Okay? You remove it all. You operate on a higher wavelength, and this is real. You can whatever. You can say it's whatever, and don't believe in it. Whatever. Do whatever you want. Stay grounded down because you want to instantly make an excuse because you don't want to give something up. That's what it always is, and that's on you. That's on you. That's your battle. Okay? But it's a battle. And I'm starting to feel like those that overcome it, you wonder why good people die all the time? It's because they figured it out and they overcame all these things. And this one day, oh, it was such a great person, best person in the world. Well, they had it figured out. They walked righteous and they need not have been here another second. That's why God takes them. If you're still sitting here breathing, you obviously got work to do. And most people are just sitting here like a bumping log looking around, wasting time. Precious moments in time. If you would have been taught these things as a kid, you could have lived out a whole life great, projecting great things, because you have the power to do that. Living healthy and all these other things, but well, when people lack knowledge and are lied to, you end up where we're at now, in an America where people are fed GMOs and stuff with poisons, and the furthest thing from being a clean antenna. The whole point was to raise your chrism and walk righteous because the Spirit can see it. And if you want to, the best way I've ever been able to explain it is like if you're in a plane, in an airplane, and you're going over a big city like New York, and there's a cloud deck, and there's the top of a couple big skyscrapers peeking through the clouds. That needs to be you. That needs to be your frequency. You understand? You need to raise your vibration where you are seen by the Most High. Iron Metal, thank you for the coffee. Jesus repeats this over and over. It's hidden. I got to do a stream, and it's not going to be on YouTube. I'm going to have to do a separate stream on a different platform breaking this down. Because the last time I did, I obviously got attacked, and they tried to dismantle me. They don't want you to find your way out. And someone left the keys. They're hidden. And I know how to... I can decipher over and over again. When you've been given a grail, a codex that helps you understand something, it changes everything. When someone's telling you stories and allegories, as Jesus did everything he spoke, they're telling you with something with a hidden meaning. Do you not understand this? Do you? Because this is where everyone gets lost. Hidden within all the scripture, in every single allegory, by definition of the name allegory, there is something hidden. There is a meaning hidden. You got that? Well, I applied that to all the passages I went reading. And I was amazed at what I found and what started to unlock in front of me. Then, I was fortunate enough to obtain knowledge that when applied to it, it opens it. There's certain things that, like, for instance, when they wrote these scriptures a long time ago, especially the allegories, they were hinting at certain things. When they would say, for instance, like an individual went up into his chamber, or he went into his cave, all these things, they're always talking about going within. Okay? There's a story of the lion and the tiger coming out and devouring the kids. Then also the same thing in the story of Samson. Okay? This isn't about a physical fight with a lion. The lion represents ego. It's about what these things represent in the story that everyone has always missed. They take it for a literal story, and you shouldn't. It is a freaking allegory from get-go. So you should be trying to decipher it to find the inner meaning, of which no one wants to do. And when you find the codex that tells you what all these things mean and you apply it to all of the scripture, a hidden message comes out time after time. Time after time. And it's of man overcoming this place in the end and raising his chrism. That's it. You could essentially, the right soul could come into this life and do it without ever knowing any of it if they just walk perfectly righteous and right and all of it. But that's the gift of it. That's the beauty of it. You will never make it out of here doing evil. By default, you can't do it. It is the most beautiful thing that the Godhead made it to where unless you walk righteous, you can't obtain this. You can't fake it. An evil person can't fake it. You can't obtain this when you're evil. This is why they do it through witchcraft and they do what they do. Do you see? You have got to know the power that is right in front of you. And you've got to believe, man. Too many will go off and they'll miss it. But the heck with it. At this point, it's about those of you that showed up ready to do it, ready to accept it. Like you are a wizard in your own right. Jesus said you will go on to do greater things than he. He walked on water. He raised the dead. He healed the sick. He said you could do more than he. You were never taught so much. And it's all about this teaching. But this is the knowledge they don't want you to know, never. They want you trapped in this cycle, in this soul trap. I want out. And I don't ever want to come back in. That's why I do what I do. And hopefully, if it's just even one or two of you, meet me on the other side. This whole thing was worth it. Oh yeah. Who wants to be alone? So, if I don't see you in the flesh, if we don't connect up here like I would want, I will see you on the other side. Nothing can stop us from gravitating toward one another then. Right? And this is a place where all the righteous souls gather. It's written as well. And I believe. You check out before Judgment Day. We all got to go rest somewhere, right? Much love, Crown Jewels, my brother. Look. I wish everybody the best. I can't live your life for you. You got to do that. That's the beautiful thing about this whole thing. You got to live it out. You got to overcome these demons, exorcise these demons, and walk it out righteous. Unfortunately, the leadership of this planet doesn't do that. They take the other route clearly. They cast circles. They call upon the jinn, and everything that they do is in connection with the jinn. Do you understand? All of them. Yeah, thank you for the coffees, my brother. Much love, God bless, man, as always. Oh, that's along with the night. Wow, we're past midnight. Yeah, we have to start. Look, when I get on these kicks, man, I can't just let it be. Like, man, I gotta speak it. I can't just shut down. That's like the most important part of the message right there. I gotta get it to the people. Like, yeah, man. I can only hope that when this is all said and done, I can say, okay. Like, I did enough to at least wake this many souls up. This many souls, whoever. All right, so. Break it down, give some final thoughts here on some things. Check out the chat. I love you guys. 5 a.m. in the UK. My brother, hang it tough. like the real J from the Ville. Thank you, Q City, man. Good to see you out there. Good to see you, Q City. Gosh, I mean, this some of you, mayhem. I mean, like some of you out there just been around for a minute, and like, I wonder about you. I wonder, because people die every day, and you never know. You know how many people I've come across, good souls, that I've come to find out later, just like, I ain't heard from them in a minute. You go looking and looking, like if they're dead, they're gone. Go back, look at your last messages in Twitter with them or whatever, like, they're gone, man. At this point, people checking out all the time. I guess once you get to a certain point of life, age, I'm in my 40s, like, I don't know. There ain't a whole lot of people left, it seems. Thankful for what I got left, though. Yeah, man. And for those that don't know, I am an ordained minister. I don't marry people. I don't do none of that. I just fight demons. Okay? So, I speak that real raw scripture, and that scripture that the local pastor to church ain't gonna spit because they leave it out of your Bible. You know, like Jubilees, Giants, the Book of Enoch, a lot of important stuff that fills in the blanks. I think it's important. We're all seeking answers, right? Trying to get out of here. So, all right, let me pull up a few things here. Make sure I can check everything. I want to give some shout outs before I shut it down and all that. Check the email real quick, pull it up. Had everything shut down, make sure we could stream good. Normally I'm checking the email along the way. So if you were sending something along the stream with the stream and I missed it, I apologize to the fullest. But I want to thank Sweet Pea again, Boomer, Iron Metal, Edward, my brother Lowrider. We're gonna get it back in the flesh one day. Tia, the legend Cash Heart. Man, I gotta meet you in the flesh to shake your hand. Deanne, the same. Thank you so much for everything you do. All the mods, Pixie, Quantum, Hoodie, D White, everybody, all the fam. Thank you so much. If you don't know and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I am heavily censored. If you don't get a notification for the live streams or my videos, you might just want to come and check in on my channel. Most people have to. It's just what you have to do to keep track. I'm censored. They don't send out notifications to just stop by, check out the channel. Again, I'm usually dropping videos every day by the afternoon, or I'm going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 9 p.m. Eastern is the scheduled time, for the most part. In a much love, thank you for that. Trying to read some of the emails here and give shout outs as well. Thank you, Tacos, for everything you do. Much love you, Sonny, Tooch. Hope you're safe out there tonight, Tooch, wherever you're at. David, Carrie, John Boy, E-Phase. All you guys that are always here for all the streams, man. I love you, man. For real. You're the team, you're the crew. What happened to the other stream? The beginning of the last streams is gone. There wasn't much on there. I was just starting to get into everything there. I deleted it and started a new one with the same title. If that answers the question. What else? But the underground project, okay, well, I tried to explain this into the last stream. I'll do it again, just so people know, kind of an educational thing. For those wanting to get a part of this, this is a long-term thing. Like I said, for people to get in for the long ride. And I made it for you. Again, this wasn't something that had any pre-sale on it or anything. This is like our stock here. But people want to know how to get involved. And all I could say is to look up how to make a wallet. A Phantom wallet is the best. It's easy to do. And the Coinbase account. And these are pretty simple things. If you can't get around those hurdles, there's videos out there on it. But as I said before, you just log in to pump. I got links below. And you use your Phantom wallet. You just log in with a wallet. And once you get in, you can access the page and you can send over to your wallet, like right here. You can copy. This would be your wallet. You copy it. You can send over from Coinbase. Sol is what you would mainly use. We don't use Bitcoin. And use Sol to make your purchase. Pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. We are on multiple platforms. I'm thankful for that. And it's spreading. So, again, getting the word out there. It's pretty awesome to be able to create something that everyone can get into that continues to grow. That when we started off down at like 4,000, past 20, when we just hit like 70,000 yesterday, slight pullback. We're at 50. This is how it goes, man. Hop in on the ride, man. So we're just getting started with this thing, and to be honest, it feels good. People that get in, they make their money, they sell, they get out, and hey, good for you. That's what it's there for, man. It's tax-free. I see all kinds of people doing it. So somebody's got to be happy out there. And they're hitting up the Dex page with over 1,000 rockets. It's all about a strong community, too. So I want to thank those out there that share it, that believe in it. If there's ever a time a multimillionaire could ever come out there, a billionaire, come and touch your product, your project, and take it to the moon, and like turn your $1,000 investment or $100 investment, whatever it is, into huge money, it's this. If you don't, then it could never happen. It's how I see it. And I've seen crazy stuff happen in this game. This one's ours, though. No one else controls it. It's not a blockchain where someone else is going to be tracking you and selling your information or nothing like that. This is ours. Our project. I sure as hell ain't tracking and tracing you and selling your information or none of that. That's for sure. And I wish everybody the best of luck here to the moon with the project. And yeah, man, I'll be back for the next one here, going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 9 p.m. Eastern right here, Dabu77. I'll look to be back Friday at 9. Probably not as long of a stream as this one. I got links in the description box for everything. Again, email me, dabu7@yahoo.com, with anything you got. Follow me on X as well. Can't stress that enough. You're missing a lot of breaking news if you're not following me over there. So, much love, guys. Be safe out there. We'll take us out of here in some music if I can get the player fired up. And as I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, we'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. Much love.